My neighbor installed a camera facing my house. And I finally found out why. About 6 months after I moved into my new house, I noticed something strange across the street. My neighbor had installed a security camera on the corner of his garage. At first that didn't seem unusual. A lot of people have cameras these days. But after a few days, I realized something weird about the angle. The camera wasn't really pointed at his driveway. It was pointed directly at my house. At first I tried to ignore it. Maybe it just looked that way from my perspective. But every time I pulled into my driveway or walked outside, I could see the lens aimed straight toward my front door. Eventually curiosity got the better of me. One afternoon I walked across the street and asked him about it. My neighbor was an older guy who mostly kept to himself. When I casually mentioned the camera, he immediately looked a little uncomfortable. He quickly said it was just for security and that it wasn't focused on my house. But the way he said it didn't feel convincing. Over the next few weeks I kept noticing the camera whenever I left for work or came home at night. It made me feel uneasy knowing that someone might be watching every time I stepped outside. So one weekend I decided to test something. I placed a large cardboard box in front of my house near the driveway and left it there for a few hours while I worked in the garage. The box looked like a delivered package from a distance. About 30 minutes later, I saw my neighbor step outside and look directly at it. He stared at the box for a few seconds, then went back inside. 10 minutes later, he came out again. This time he walked across the street toward my driveway. But the moment he reached the box, I stepped out of the garage. He froze. For a few seconds neither of us said anything. Then he awkwardly laughed and said he thought the package might have been delivered to the wrong house. The problem was that my name was written clearly across the top of the box in huge letters. At that moment it finally clicked in my mind why his camera had been pointed at my house the entire time. He wasn't using it for security. He was using it to watch for deliveries. And apparently, he had been planning to take them whenever he thought nobody was home.